Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Breakdown with Bethany. I'm Bethany Braun Silva, and today my guest is the one and only Taraji P. Henson. It feels so super surreal that I get to talk to such a huge star like Taraji. I mean, not only we know her from The Color Purple, we know her from Hidden Figures. She is Oscar nominated, Tony nominated, Emmy nominated. She is all the things and more. But what makes her so special, she is a fierce advocate for mental health. She started the Boris Lawrence Henson Foundation in 2018. It's named after her father, and it really helps to destigmatize caring for mental health, especially in the Black community. Taraji also just wrote, or is actually getting ready to release, her first ever children's book called You Can Be a Good Friend No Matter What. And it really is all about uniqueness, owning one's uniqueness, standing up to bullies, connection, all of that. And I have an 8-year-old son who's incredibly unique. He used to draw mustaches on himself in kindergarten and first grade. He wears different color socks. Jake is Jake no matter what. So I really, really appreciated this story because there have been times when I've watched other children try to dim his light, and it's definitely a challenge from, watching from afar, watch your kid get bullied or picked on because of who they are, the things that you think are so special about them. And of course, Taraji has been no secret about her own mental health struggles. So this book is especially important from such an incredible, incredible woman and advocate. So I hope you'll take a listen to this conversation. It was an incredible one.
Hi,
Hi, Miss Henson. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing so well, and I'm very, very excited to talk to you. I know I have you for a brief amount of time. So if it's all right with you, we jump right in?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's so good. I'm so glad to hear it. Obviously, I'm a huge fan. You have fans across the globe that love you for your acting, your singing, you're on stage, big and small screen alike. But what it's really, I believe, sets you apart is how you're working to destigmatize caring for mental health, especially in the Black community. And you started the Boris Lawrence Henson Foundation in 2018, named after your father. So I just love to start there, telling us about the foundation, what this sort of mission around mental health means to you.
Yeah, well, it started from a very organic place and a place of my own necessity. I know if you can imagine trying to raise a young Black male single-handedly by myself and be in the industry that I am in and protect him and all of that. And and so I found, when the rose colored glasses came off and now he's not a cute little kid, he's a young Black man in America, the picture's a little different. And so we had our struggles, and when it was time to find help, it was hard, and it opened a huge conversation for myself. Like, if it's hard for me and I'm privileged and afford it, what about a community that, wow. So it opened up a can of worms that I felt compelled to address in the community, because I dealt with mental issues in my family, with my dad, and coming from being, I don't know how you go to a war and come back the same. And not only that, my best friend who runs my foundation suffered from anxiety attacks when she was little, and we talk about it now, how we used to laugh about it out of ignorance as a child, but the same thing we laughed about, we cry about now because we understand it, you know and so that's how the foundation was born, because I was like, what about the community that one doesn't even talk about it? We don't even address it. So the first layer we wanted to peel back was, let's talk about it. Put it on the table. Let's pretend like the elephant's not in the room. Stop hiding that uncle in the closet. I mean, down in the basement, you know?
Yeah, I think it's obviously so important, and we're having conversations around mental health care,
Yeah.
across the board for mothers too. I'm a parenting and motherhood journalist, so it's obviously super important for me. You are a mother, you're a single mom doing the damn thing. I love that. That's your doing. I love that. But tell us how you managed to take care of your mental health with all of the sort of, resources at your disposal. We know that doesn't matter anymore. Like you could be it doesn't matter. So how do you take care of yourself?
I have learned to say no a lot, because I am a people pleaser. I can be sort of a people pleaser, and I've had to learn at the expense of my mental wellness, that I can't do everything. And when I don't want to do it, I speak up now, and to get to that place is you have to slow down. You have to slow yourself down and really ask yourself internally, how does this make me feel? You know, and if I do this, once I get to the other side, how will I feel then? And if it's still not right, then maybe this is something I shouldn't do. And I don't care what you or anybody else feels or how you feel about it. This is not about you, it's about me. Because if I'm okay, then you're going to be okay. But if I do this at my expense for you, then what we have can suffer, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm talking little things. It's even little things. I just listen to myself. We're so busy ready to just go, go, go and do. Like, I question how many people really are listening to that little voice inside. And that's really what the book was stemmed from, the little TJ that I still have very much alive inside of me. That's my little girl. She is in me. She has a voice. And I let her breathe. I have a salon at home, which is my little girl room where I go in, and that's my safe place. And I play with I play with my doll heads, and I practice nails. I have silicone hands. It's my safe place. It's my little girl room.
I was gonna say that too, because obviously I want to talk about you can be a good friend no matter what. This
Yes,
is
yes.
so important, but some of it does start in childhood. I have a little boy, I have two
Mhm.
boys, but my younger son is very unique, kind of like little
Mhm.
TJ, two different socks. He used to draw
Yep.
mustaches on his face.
Love.
As an
Mhm.
adult, you're like, oh my gosh, you're so special. You're so amazing. You're just owning your whole self. And then, of course, that
Right.
first day of kindergarten, someone made fun of him and he was just deflated. Like, it just takes a
Yeah.
one person, and it's so
Yeah.
unfortunate. But tell us about this book because it has such a beautiful message.
And I'm talking to that kid. I'm talking to your son. And I'm not only talking to your son, I'm talking to the kid who did that to him as well. Because these kids are but their parents are gonna buy these books as well. This is also for you, because you need to know that we need to allow each other to be ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, and you see little TJ tried. She tried to fit in, and it wasn't her. Like, and what she did was she listened to herself. She took up and spoke up for herself, but not like this, from a place of love for herself. And through that love for herself, she was even able to touch Bo's heart and teach him about love and how to love himself and his quirks.
My favorite part of the book is when she kind of comes back at him and says, well, I've never met anyone like you either. So, like,
Exactly.
I love that. And also,
Yeah. You're different. I'm different. We can be different together.
that really is the most beautiful part of the book, and really I think in childhood and humanity, right? But what I also loved about little TJ's story was the grandmother aspect of it. She did have this sort of advocate, the someone who loved her and was patient with her and reminded her, things take time. So did you have someone like that in your life, or who was this character based on?
It's actually based and named after my actual grandmother, Patsy. She just turned 100, and we just celebrated her 100th birthday. We had a Great Gatsby Harlem Renaissance party for her. Everybody dressed up, and it was a beautiful celebration. We're still talking about it. The family's still talking about it. And my grandmother is just so full of wisdom. Like, she's from the South. She raised 8 kids, and 8 of her own children and one niece she raised. And what she's been able to instill in us as a family, we're so close and we're so full of love. And I think she's found her blue zone, because we all just take care of her, and she has so much life to live. And her and my grandfather, they were married for 61 years before he passed away, unfortunately, years ago. But she buried her husband, and she moved on and is living her life. I mean, she's been with me to the Emmys twice. She's been with me to the Oscars. she's just and when I have an uncle who's been documenting her life, and she was just like, I never thought I've been to California, just to hear her say the things and the places and that I had something to do with making her life, making her dreams come true, because these are things like she never thought she would be ever do.
Right, right. Oh, I love to
Yeah.
hear that. I loved it. Grandparents are incredibly important. And
Oh
what
my goodness.
what a blessing that you
And
still
at my age, at 53, I can still call my grandma for advice. Are you kidding me?
it's the best. You're very, very lucky. I
I'm
wish I could
so
say
blessed.
so blessed.
Yeah.
I do want to say, because this is, a podcast for moms. We have moms are our sole audience, and I've heard you talk about this many, many times about going out to LA when Marcel was a baby and sort of pursuing your passions while raising, your child. I have I don't want to say I have a similar experience, but I was a young mom and sort of found my career, my passions in conjunction with becoming a mom, and did it sort of in tandem. And it's so hard, but I would love to hear what you have to say to moms who are just, finding that passion, that love in their own life, whatever that is, but also, raising little ones.
Yeah, it's a tough, that's a hard line to walk, because you have to be there for your kid. You still have to be present, you know, and you just have to find that balance. I mean, there are gonna be times when you just want to give up. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you have two. I can imagine.
All right.
But yeah, it's just about finding that balance and fighting for those moments where you can have you time, because again, if you don't have it in you, you can't give it to anybody else, not even your kids. So I was very strict about bedtime with my son, because I knew instinctively, this is before I got into the mental health field, I just knew that I needed that time at the evening for me to wind down and have my moment. After I've worked all day, I got you from school, we've done homework, I bathed you. Now you have to go to bed at this time so that I have about this many hours to myself, or this ain't gonna work. Yeah. And you have to take summer camp. I used to love summer because he loved basketball. And I would be like, great, you get to go and do the thing you love to do. And I would save and scrimp and scrap. And this is before I was anybody. I would call grandmas and be like, can y'all help with this, summer camp basketball so I don't go crazy? And it's just finding, ways to balance where your kid is happy and well taken care of, and you are too. And it's like a relationship, any relationship. You got to go away, you got to come back, and it makes it better. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much. And real quick, because I have absolutely fallen in love with little TJ. Is this going to be a series? Is it like, can we expect more from this sweet?
That's my hope, for sure. That's what I want, for sure. Absolutely.
Oh, well, I hope so too, because this book was just too special. So I really do appreciate your
Oh,
time, and thank you so much. Thank you for everything.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, take care now.